So today I'm going to talk to you about becoming a GP supervisor. The experience of new supervisors transitioning from clinician to educator is important because what happens early in their journey can be influential when forming their supervisor identity and for the perceived sustainability of their role. Supervisors are the cornerstone of general practice training, so without them, we don't have a training program. Supervisors are the cornerstone of general practice training, and without them, we don't have a training program. Creating a sustainable workforce of supervisors is critical. So if we want to keep and best support our new supervisors, how they start their journey is worth our while to understand. We followed 7 new supervisors during the very early stages of taking on this role. Their insights were captured by audio diary recordings as well as interviews at the beginning and end of semester. I'm going to share with you some insight from Naomi and Peter. Some details have been changed to maintain confidentiality, including their names. Let's look for a minute at Naomi's journey. She began with mixed feelings about becoming a supervisor. While she welcomed the opportunity to stretch herself, to contribute to the clinic, and to contribute in a positive way to her registrar's learning, she was a bit concerned about whether she had enough time. Having missed an orientation workshop, Naomi didn't feel well prepared, yet she was optimistic. She was determined to be proactive and really wanted to do it well. Preparation for teaching sessions, whilst enjoyable, was time-consuming, further reinforcing her concerns of having enough time. Halfway into the semester, Naomi says, "I still don't have a good handle on what my responsibilities are." Attending a supervisor workshop really helped to broaden her understanding of the role. The pieces of the puzzle were coming together. Her perspective shifted from that of a one-dimensional teaching role to a more meaningful and engaging mentorship role. Being of value to her registrar enriched Naomi's experience and gave her role meaning. After a complicated case, the registrar sought Naomi out, not so much to debrief about clinical management issues, but about how she felt. Naomi says, beyond the clinical, that's what makes it real. Another highlight for Naomi was meeting with other new supervisors at a focus group facilitated by our study. She says, meeting with other new supervisors was awesome, and it was really, really grounding. I just felt a little bit validated in terms of my uncertainties. By the end of semester, Naomi seemed to be on the cusp of embracing the identity of a supervisor, which was helped by her increasing confidence and ownership of meaning, and being a part of the group of new supervisors. But it had been a lot more work than expected, which proved challenging when juggling her clinical role and roles outside of work. She's unsure if she'll continue next year. Now, let's have a look at some key points from Peter's journey. He was kind of thrown in the deep end in the early weeks, being the only supervisor in the clinic, other GPs were away, and taking on the added responsibilities of supervisor. He was just trying to keep his head above water. He was motivated to do the best that he could, so like Naomi, Peter enjoyed the interaction with his registrar and he drew meaning from being of value. Amidst his own uncertainties about whether he was doing an adequate job, he got on with it, checking to ensure the registrar wasn't too heavily booked, checked clinical notes, even scheduled teaching times on his days off. He was still trying to grasp exactly what he was supposed to do, so what forms to fill out, how to navigate the online system, what he's meant to do week to week, and whether he even got paid for any of it. 2 months in, he spent a lot of time feeling lost, and 3 months in, not much had changed. The uncertainty lingered. He felt there was a certain amount of faking it to some extent. So amid his uncertainties though, and his concerns about finding enough time to perform his role well, Peter found meaning with the other new supervisors and he found them a great source of support. It was therapeutic for him to hear that other people had uncertainties and difficulties, that he wasn't the only one. By the end of Peter's semester, his supervisor identity had been strengthened, which was facilitated by meaningful interactions with his registrar and being a part of the group of new supervisors, which normalised his uncertainties. However, tensions remained about how much time it took, and he too was unsure if he would continue next year. So both Naomi and Peter's experience resonates with an inbound trajectory, to use Wenger's term, because their identity as a supervisor did strengthen throughout the semester and it had the potential to lead to full engagement, but their uncertainties about continuing next year reflected more of a peripheral trajectory. According to Wenger, a community of practice is a group of people who share a concern or a passion for something that they do and learn how to do it better as they interact regularly. One of our assumptions was that new supervisors would benefit from joining the community of practice of existing experienced supervisors, and they do. But an unexpected benefit that we found from running the focus groups with new supervisors as part of our study was that they are a highly valued and important community of practice in and of themselves. They provide an even higher level of support and belonging because they have shared experiences, uncertainties and anxieties, and provided reassurance and encouragement. So what can we take away? We have some fantastic new supervisors who are motivated by contributing to the learning and growth of our next generation of general practitioners. The early experiences of supervisors can influence their identity formation and has the potential to make or break them early on. Their engagement and confidence is facilitated by having a clear understanding of what the role involves and sturdy support early on, which should come from both the training practice and the training organisation. Importantly, new supervisors benefit from connecting with one another and should have a number of opportunities to do so early on. Becoming a supervisor, while rewarding, involves a steep learning curve in the early months. It can be easy to forget how hard it is at the start. While much can be learned along the way, let's do what we can to clear their path and give them their best chance of a great start of what is a critical role in general practice training.